Welcome back to our podcast, At Home on the Lakeshore, where we talk about home loans with our local home loan experts at UnitedOne Credit Union. My name is Mike, and this is episode number 24. And I'd like to welcome back in our local home loan experts, Carrie and Marla. Sorry, I merged your two names there.
I like it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
That's like our Bennifer name, Marla.
Yes. Love it.
Oh, and here I was going to say something about without Julie joining us today, there might not be a joke of the show. And then I went and put my foot in the mouth and tripped over my words. And there's your joke of the show.
It's
built right in.
Meant to be.
Well, are you both enjoying the winter wonderland out there right now? It's a nice covering of snow. And we've just started here the winter, and it's already off to a very white, snowy start.
I love it. As you can see behind me, I'm a winter person, and I like seeing a little white out there, as long as I don't have to shovel too much.
I too, I'm a fan. I like it. When I don't have to go anywhere, for sure, it's beautiful and enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not so much when you're having to drive in it or shovel it or plow it or blow it or any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
But yes. Okay, well, great. Yes, winter is here. The winter wonderland is out there. But that doesn't necessarily mean that home buying or home selling or real estate isn't still transferring back and forth even during the winter months. And though we know Julie's not joining us today, we do have a special guest joining us. Today we have Lindsay Wiesner. She is our business relationship manager at UnitedOne Credit Union, and she'll be joining us today to talk a little bit about business and real estate and making real estate purchases or home purchases or business and retail location purchases and things like that. So hello, Lindsay. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thanks for having me today.
Glad to have you join us. So yes, that is today's topic is real estate and businesses. How do local businesses go about their real estate purchases? And, Lindsay, you're the expert in this area. So I'll open it up to you and Carrie and Marla to kind of take it from there.
Awesome. Yeah. So was asked to join the podcast to kind of talk about the similarities and differences when it comes to purchasing your home compared to an investment property. With the market the way it is and the housing market we have in the area, there's a need for rentals as much as there is for personal housing. So that's kind of where I come in. Things are a little bit different, but a lot of times very similar when it comes to rentals. So just kind of want to talk about some of the differences, and then we'll kind of talk about some of the questions that some of the mortgage experts get, because a lot of times there's a lot of overlap between the two departments. So we do work very closely together. So if you ever reach out to one of us and the other one is really the person, you'll always make sure you're taken care of. So they're really good people to work with. So one thing we always want to talk about is the terms are a little bit different when it comes to a personal mortgage compared to a business mortgage. When you're talking a home, you can have a fixed rate for up to 30 years, depending on the type of program or the loan you do. Where on the business side, we're looking more at a term of 5 or 7 years, and then the loan would balloon. So basically, at that point, your interest rate would be subject to market changes. So it's a little different than an ARM, if you've ever talked about an adjustable rate kind of mortgage that has kind of a set parameter. This one, there's no set parameters. So at the time of the end of the term, which is 5 or 7 years, your interest rate would be based on the market rates. Your payments, on the other hand, would still be based on up to 30 years repaying it. So you don't have to repay the entire loan over the 5 or 7 years. Some people get a little bit confused when it comes to we're talking about that. So the payment wise itself would look very similar for term wise, but when we're talking interest rate locks and stuff like that, that's where you're going to have a shorter term. Also, there's always a down payment requirement with buying an investment property. It's 20% down just because of the PMI, that when you don't have that down on a personal mortgage, that's not an option on the business side. So that's why the 20% is a requirement. But we can be creative. So even if you don't have 20% down in cash, We can look to use equity in your house, So there's ways to do an investment property without even having to put money down if that's something you would be interested in.
Okay. I'll open it up. Carrie, Marla, are there any questions? I
I
know
was just
you have
going
a
to,
lot of experience. Yeah.
sure. I was just going to say, another difference we run into is when someone's looking to buy a rental, um, down payment amount through our program that we can go through, they typically want a 25% down payment. And it's not to say that we can't look at other sources or maybe a loan against another piece of real estate to come up with those funds, but there's a trade-off for that fixed rate. It's a larger down payment, whereas Lindsay can, like she said, do some smaller down payment options.
Yeah, one other difference also is a lot of times people would like to buy the investment properties in like an LLC to limit their issues if they're ever sued or anything like that. I'm no legal expert, so you have to talk to your attorney about advising on that. But the consumer mortgage side, I don't believe can do loans
No, we have
in
to
an
do it in your
LLC.
name personally. Correct. You
So
are right.
anytime you have something like that, it's for sure going to have to come over and talk to a business lender for something like that.
Yes. And another thing we run into is sometimes people want to buy a property that's half commercial and half livable space. So if it's like 50% or more commercial, we can't do it. Through that program, it would have to go to the business side.
And since we're kind of talking commercial is kind of the same thing when it comes to investment properties. When it comes to the term and stuff, it's very similar. But yes, we can do commercial and investment properties. We also do short-term rentals. So like the Airbnbs that are up and coming in the area as we get more tourism in our area, which is great. We do lend against those as well.
What
Okay.
are some of the, I guess, cost differences or rate differences that might be variable going on the business side with you?
Yep. So our rates are subject to change every Tuesday. They're based on the Treasury, very similar to how your guys' rates are, but there's different margins. So we look at those every week. Your interest rate is basically locked in at the time of the application, which is good for up to 90 days. Outside of that, that's the main difference on the interest rates.
I was going to ask you a question about like the paperwork. We know in the mortgage process that there's a lot of paperwork and it could take some time. Is that the same on the business side? Is there more paperwork, less? Or, I mean, what would a business want to make sure that they're bringing with them when they have that first meeting with you or that first discovery call?
Yeah, so we can include potential rents in our cash flow. So if you don't have any renters in the property or anything like that, do some market research, find out how much you think you're going to rent the property for, because we do take that into consideration. Paperwork, everybody loves paperwork. So we require a lot of the same information that the consumer mortgage side does. So that's not too different for us. But timing, from start to finish, we can easily close within 30 days. So it's not like it's a long, drawn-out process either.
Yeah, which is very similar to our timeline. Typically, within about 30 days, we can get things closed. Sometimes it just comes down to a matter of what's going to work best for you and your business, I would think, right, Lindsay?
Yep. So timing-wise on that, we'll look at different ways, structuring. Like we said, we've worked with you guys on numerous projects together. So it's there, we can
It's
make
nice.
it possible.
Lending experts in both kind of sides of the fence to see overall, what's going to fit my picture the best as a person who has a business or is buying a rental or things like that.
Right. I've had a lot of members come in with the interest of, a rental purchase or something. And it's always good to sit down with one of us and kind of talk through that and go through your options. And maybe the mortgage side with Carrie, Julie, or myself is the way you want to go or is the best way. Or we might refer you over to our business lending department with Lindsay or Nellie, to look at those options. And maybe that's the better direction to go. So either way, you're going to be set.
It's really nice having local people with offices right next to each other.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. There are advantages that way of having all the local experts under one roof. Sometimes even literally just down the hall or next office over, but certainly within the same credit union, even if you're working with Marla, say down in Sheboygan, that you can still be connected and contact Lindsay and Nellie, regardless of where they're at. So just know that you have the experts at UnitedOne. So if you are thinking about getting into rental property or into a property that you might rent out as one of those Airbnbs or VRBOs, that we have some options. So just reach out to our experts and then we can guide you in the right direction there. I did have a question about, on the personal side of mortgage, there's a lot of programs, down payment assistance programs, counseling and other support, as well as a whole plethora, that's the word of the day, plethora of different options available, whether that's like a VA loan or whether there's a traditional mortgage loan or some of the many other WIDA, other programs that are out there. From a business side of things, when it comes to some of those like rental properties and things, are there programs like that? I know business has like SBA loans and stuff.
Yeah.
But can those kind of programs be used for property or real estate, or how does some of that stuff work?
So there's not really too many out there. Most of the time it's going to be more of your conventional. The SBA focuses on owner occupied real estate. So if you wanted to buy like a commercial property and maybe there is a residential space upstairs, as long as you occupy more than 51%, you could qualify for an SBA loan. But passive income or non-owner occupied real estate does not qualify for the SBA program.
Okay. All righty. Because we know with all the different programs and things out there, but that's another reason to reach out to us. So if you're somewhere in that process, even if you're just getting started, give us a call, reach out to us online. We have the email that you can use it. You can create you can schedule an appointment online with us as well, or of course, always pick up the phone and reach out to us and talk to any of our experts here. Are there any final thoughts or things that you want to share, Lindsay, when we're talking about business real estate or business mortgage purchases?
Yeah, I just want to say I always feel like there's never too early of a conversation, even if it's something you're just throwing around and, you just want to think about what to consider or, how to plan for the down payment or, what the payment would look like or what you could afford. Feel free to reach out at any time. I love the beginning conversations and watching our relationship grow into something to help you start from one rental all the way up to, 50 if you really want. So I love just watching that and growing that. So I'm a firm believer to talk to your experts early to get the tools going and maybe talk to the right people up front to make everything go a little smoother.
Excellent.
Agreed.
The best time to start that conversation is now, right? So
Yes.
that you're ready to go.
No matter what you're buying, start the conversations early.
Yeah. So if 2026 moving forward is the year for you to, look into rental property or expanding the business for real estate and things like that, UnitedOne is here, has the experts to help you get started having those conversations today. So thank you very much, Lindsay, for joining us. Excited to have you with us. Your expertise on the team has been second to none, helping us move forward with so many local businesses and small businesses in our local area right here on the lakeshore in Manitowoc, Sheboygan, and the surrounding communities. So thank you for everything that you've done to help small businesses achieve their dreams.
Well, thank you. It's nice having a team of experts around me as well.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you all very much again for joining us. And for our listeners at home or in the car or wherever you are, if you have any questions about home loans or the home buying process, or if you're a business owner, or if you're thinking about getting into rental properties or a Airbnb or VRBO or making that real estate purchase and want to learn more, you can contact us by email at homeloans@unitedone.org, or for the business side, businessloans@unitedone.org. And we'd love to highlight any of your questions in a future show. So if you're interested in what Lindsay talked about today and you have some more questions, please send them over to us, and we'd be more than happy to follow up with you and maybe even share them on a future show. We encourage you to give us a like and rate us wherever you get your podcasts, and also feel free to share the podcast with others. You're welcome to follow us on social media. We can be found on Facebook.com/UnitedOneCU. We're also on Instagram with @UnitedOneCU. And thank you, Carrie, Marla, Lindsay, for joining us today.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks.